Hello, everyone. Welcome back to A Little Literary Love. My name is Shelby. I'm glad you all are with me today. Today's video is going to be my end of October wrap up. So we'll be talking about all the books that I read in the second half of the month. But before we get into all of those books, I would just like to say, if you're here, you're enjoying my content, please make sure to subscribe. It really helps me out. Like this video, all that jazz. And yeah, like I said, it helps me out. I appreciate it. Thank you. And now let's get into all the books that I read. So I'm filming this on the last day of October. I was hoping that I would get some more books read, but I just really don't think it's going to happen. Of course, I ended up picking up a 500 plus page book like a couple days ago, and it's slow going. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it done before the end of the month. So for the latter half of October, I read 5 books, which is pretty on par for like the amount that I have been reading for like all my wrap ups. I really want to try to read more, but life life happens. It's fine. But I did really enjoy all of the books that I read in the latter half of October. So we're going to get right into those. So I read Guarded by the Nightmare by Cassie Alexander. This is a paranormal romance that I read. I got the arc of this and read it. This is part of the Monster Security Agency series, which is a series that is written by 3 different authors. Cassie Alexander has 3 books in this series, and you can I have one right here. And I've read one other and this one, and then I really want to read some of the other books in this series, but I just haven't gotten around to them. Anyway, so this one is about our female main character. She makes a deal with this nightmare monster. And she is wanting to make this bargain. He is going to help her out to get revenge on her abusers. And then at the end of this week that they're together, then he will kill her, because that's just the kind of like he's a monster and he feeds off of fear and he devours people, and that's just how he survives. So that's their bargain, that he is going to kill her at the end of this week that they are together. But of course, this is a romance, so they start to have this close bond together, and they start having feelings for each other. Honestly, I really liked the character growth of both of these characters. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this story. Our female main character, honestly, she's just like this broken shell of a person at the very beginning of the story. And because they are going on this journey of finding all of her abusers, because this happened at like this party and her friend was also attacked, and her friend is now in a coma. So she's just wanting revenge. Like, she's having to face these people and face what was done to her. And so the male main character of the story helps her see herself as like this stronger person. She becomes this like fierce, and like slowly throughout the rest of the story, you see kind of like the light come back to her, and like he's seeing that as well, and he doesn't want to snuff out her light. I don't know, I thought it was really beautiful seeing the 2 of them fall in love. This is definitely a darker paranormal romance. There's a lot of trigger warnings in this one, like I said, from past trauma since she was abused. We don't actually see any of that on page, but that it is like talked about that something happened to her. It's talked about like her saying stuff like this, they did this to me, kind of thing, but we don't actually like in the moment see it on page. There's also death of parents that's also happened in the past, and like I said, her friend is in a coma. Spice on this is going to be high. And yeah, I really like this one. I really enjoy Cassie Alexander's writing and her books, and I just want to continue to support her and read more of her stories because I really enjoy them. Then I read Deal with a Demon by Amy Wright. This is another paranormal romance. This one's more of like a novella length book. This one is our female main character is down on her luck. She needs some money and she stumbles across this ad about making some money. It's basically an ad to become an escort, but for monsters. So she ends up taking a job there, and her first client that she meets, he's a demon, but he looks like a normal person and he wants to pay her. All he wants to do is to eat her out. That's all he wants. And basically, I think like this demon, that's like what he feeds on to like keep him alive, to help him survive. But he's very self-conscious of what his true form looks like, because it has known to scare humans before. So in order to do this, like this arrangement that they have, he wants her to be blindfolded and to be tied up so that she can't know what he actually looks like, which of course then she eventually at one point does find out what he looks like, and they like he's like becomes obsessed with her. So I give this one 4 stars. This was just a very cute, very steamy, quick little book, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed these 2 characters. There was some like miscommunication, and then like I said, he does get like really obsessive and goes over the top, and she's kind of like, whoa, I don't know how I feel about that. But they like it all works out by the end. Like they talk it out and things are fine. So yeah, so I really enjoyed that one. And then I read If This Was a Movie by Morgan Elizabeth. This is a contemporary romance. I ARC read this one as well. This one is about, this is a holiday romance, and this is also a second chance. So our 2 main characters, around like New Year's, they met and they had this like 2-night stand together. But then there was kind of this like, misunderstanding that happens, and then they like she blocked him and they haven't talked to each other for like months. So now it's like November again and we're going into like the holiday season. She owns a ballet studio and her apartment is above the ballet studio, and there's a pipe that bursts in her studio and it ruins the entire place. And at the same time that this is happening, he has a little daughter, and he's taking his daughter to see Santa. And what she wishes for Christmas is for her dad to fall in love with her ballerina doll come to life. And so he was like, shit, how am I going to make this happen? He's like, are you sure you don't just want like some other toy? And she's like, no. She's like very adamant that she wants to find somebody that is her ballerina doll come to life, and she wants her dad to fall in love with this person and get married. And so they're like walking on the street after seeing Santa, and they run into our female main character of the story, who, like I said, owns a ballet studio. She's in her ballerina gear and she's out on the street trying to figure out what she's going to do about her studio being ruined. And his daughter runs up to her and is like, you are the one. And then they realize who each other is. And so they get this like scenario together where he gives her a place to stay while things are getting fixed in her apartment. He's also a contractor, so he's like going to oversee things. He's also needing somebody to kind of like watch his daughter. So it's a little bit of like a nanny romance of sorts, although it honestly didn't feel like too much of a nanny romance to me. It was much more of a like second chance holiday single dad kind of romance. So I loved this one. I gave this one 5 stars. It was just, every Morgan Elizabeth book that I have read just like really speaks to me. It's just exactly what I want in a romance. It's so sweet and caring. There's lots of allusions to classic like rom-coms. So that's kind of like the title of this book, If This Was a Movie, because our female main character, she is definitely a romantic at heart. She is a dreamer, and she just dreams of falling in love like her favorite rom-com movies. But because of what happened like the misunderstanding that happened between the two of them before. She has decided that she's just not ready to be in love, and she's kind of like hardened her heart. So he is making his mission to woo her and show her that that kind of love does exist, and that love could be the two of them, that they could have that movie romance kind of story together. And it's so sweet. Her mailman characters are absolutely superb book boyfriend material. I loved this mailman character. Very caring and totally supportive and consenting. And I just think it's so beautiful. He was a great dad. I loved everything about this book, and I cannot wait to read more books from Morgan Elizabeth because I love them. I eat them up. They're wonderful. Then I read King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. This is the first book of her Adrian and Isolde series. I believe there are 2 books out of this series, and there's another one supposed to be coming at some point. This is a paranormal fantasy romance. This one, our female main character, she is a princess, and she is supposed to get married to the vampire king, who is the enemy. They make a deal that he will not slaughter her people in her kingdom if she gets married to him. So of course she's going to do that because she's going to do whatever she can to save her people. So she gets married to this vampire king. She doesn't like this because he is the enemy, but she decides that she's going to use this as an opportunity to get closer to him and try to assassinate him. However, she starts finding like she is very attracted to him. She's very drawn to him, and she can't help but want to be very intimate with him. And then she's like, oh wait, but he's the enemy, I can't do that. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars. There's a lot of reviews and like controversy, I guess, over this book that like it's not that great of a book. I don't know. I listened to this on audiobook and I enjoyed it. There's nothing that's honestly like super like standout memorable. I just thought this was a fun story. Yes, there's a lot of elements in this that are in a lot of other fantasy books, but I kind of feel like that with almost every fantasy book that I read nowadays. They all take things from one another and storylines and ideas. So I don't know. I just feel like that didn't really bother me as much as some people that I have seen reviews from. But I don't know. I kind of like that whole like enemies to lovers aspect, but they're very attracted to each other. There's a lot of steam in this one. I like the vampire aspect of it. And then like she's trying to learn more about like the history because he keeps telling her that what she knows is not the actual like history of what has happened. So I kind of liked just like getting all the different like snippets of like things get revealed and whatnot. So like I said, I give this one 4 stars. I may or may not continue with this series. I might. I'm really bad at finishing series. We all know this. So hopefully I get to the next ones. And then the last book that I read for October is going to be Cute But Creepy by Beatrix Hollow. This is a paranormal / horror romance erotica book. I don't know. I read the arc of this. This is the 2nd book of her Verfallen Asylum series, I think is what the series name is called. So this takes place at a paranormal asylum. So all of these different paranormal creatures are at this asylum because they are cuckoo. But then you're finding out more. So like I said, this honestly would be better to read this one after reading book 1 because a lot of things take place in book 1, and this kind of like this book is about different characters than there are in book 1, but it kind of like stems from the plot of book one. So this one, we have Hazel. She is our female main character of the story. She is a phoenix, and she has gotten herself into this asylum because her brother, who is a basilisk, who is one of the main characters from the first book, is at this place, and she is sent there as she is an assassin, and she is supposed to kill him. And then while she's there and doing so, trying to get close to him, trying to figure out how she can kill him, there is this other character, Gonzo, who is told he is a trickster. Which honestly, that's one of my only complaints about this book, is that it never like fully gets explained like what he is. It's like some sort of shifter, but not. And then like he could maybe shift into multiple animals. I don't know. That whole bit was not explained fully. Anyway, so he is getting closer to her, wants to like hang out with her, wants to do stuff with her. And then there's also the mysterious Dr. Stein, also known as Zero. He was the big villain of book one. We get a little bit more about his background in this one. Honestly, we get like his full background in this one. You find out a lot more about like what he is and what he is doing there. And he also has an interest in Hazel, wanting to do some like experiments on her and also wanting to do some therapy on her. So this does become a MMF romance between the three of them. Definitely the monster romance. There's a lot of different trigger warnings and content in this one. So I would recommend, like I said, this is a horror romance. So if that is not something that you are into, you may want to skip this one. This one, horror romance, is not typically what I gravitate towards, but like I said, I read the first one and really liked the first one, so I wanted to continue reading on, and I did get the opportunity to ARC read this one. I gave this one 4 stars because I did really enjoy it. I don't know, I just loved the whole like story of that. Like, it grabbed my attention. I couldn't put it down. I just wanted to keep reading to find out what was going to happen next. All of these characters are definitely like morally gray, morally black variety. They like killing people. There's lots of murder and gore and torture in this one. There's also, like I said, Dr. Stein likes to do experiments. So he does a straitjacket as a form of bondage. He does like forced orgasms as therapy. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this one. So I know it is not going to be for everybody, but I did enjoy this one. So that is going to be all the books that I read in October. And then I do usually do my like rundown of if I met my goals. And honestly, I'm just going to say flat out right now, I did not meet any of my reading goals in October. I don't think met my reading goals the prior month either. So I had the goal to read 1 nonfiction. I didn't read any nonfiction this month. I did start a nonfiction, but it just really wasn't capturing my attention. I ended up DNFing it. And then to read 2 physical books, I didn't. I don't know. I just didn't do that. And then to read 3 diverse books, honestly, I think I only read 1. Maybe. That was Seduced by Moonlight, which if you read my prior October, my mid-month wrap-up, I talked about that book in that wrap-up. I think that was the only diverse book that I read. I potentially could count Kings of Battle and Blood. I have heard that Scarlett St. Clair is a Indigenous author, but I have not done, I just saw somebody post that. So I have not taken the extra step to do my own research on that. So I'm not counting that book as a diverse read for now until I can figure out for sure if she is like a BIPOC author. I do not know that for sure yet. So for now, I'm only going to count the 1 book. So I really did not do well with my goals. Yeah, it's a work in progress. That's why I have those goals, and that's why I'm going to keep continuing these goals into the next few months, maybe even trying to restructure my goals a little bit. But that is definitely something that I want to continue to work on. So hopefully November will be a better month for me for meeting all of my goals. But that is going to be it for this long video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you do like my content, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment down below with some of the books that you read in October. What were some of your favorite reads for October? I love hearing from y'all. But otherwise, I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.